Good morning. Today we actually have a different sort of video for you guys. Today we are going to be reacting to some of my recent comments that I've been getting and receiving towards my content that I have been posting in regards to the news for you guys today. Let's go ahead and get into today's video. So, starting off with our recent, or our ones that we got like 4 weeks ago, on my direct court order violation protection for Donald Trump on if he was going to jail or not. And one of my viewers by the name of, hold on, let me fix my camera for you guys. We're gonna start off with this video by the name of NW Stock Operator. He said delusional. And he said a Christopher Bond, he said that this case was quote unquote rigged and bogus, and he says that it was politically motivated, which no the hell it wasn't. He says, he asked what was the underlying crime that turned misdemeanors into felonies. That's when I went ahead and sorry, let me prop my camera up. He said, what was the underlying, he said the entire case was bogus. The DA ran his campaign on getting Trump, and no, he didn't. He did not have a campaign, nor did he run on getting Trump. That is completely bogus BS and a flat out lie. It was because he went ahead and he decided that he wanted to falsify business records in his company and say that illegal expense, in his own words, were illegal expense is illegal expense. No, the fuck it ain't. He then proceeded to spew accusations that the judge was targeting him because of his daughter working for Donald Trump's political opponent, then Vice President Kamala Harris. And we can all agree to disagree that that was a lie right there. Right then and there, that was a lie. He then goes on to say, and then so I say that believe what you want, but as it stands, Donald Trump's acts in the entire court case were clearly personal and not official presidential acts under the bogus and illegal Supreme Court immunity ruling. And he said that the entire case was bogus. Sorry about that, guys. I had to turn back on my camera. He says that the entire case was bogus and politically motivated. No, it was not. I'm gonna fact check that right now and say that it wasn't politically motivated. He says, what was the underlying crime that was turned into misdemeanors and felonies? Unfortunately, yeah, I have to agree there was no underlying crime, but what made these felonies instead of misdemeanors is the fact that he did it with the intent to commit another crime under New York law. Under New York state law, they're only felonies if they are considered to be committing another crime, which he did so in a way to commit another crime. That's how the whole thing played out into what are known to be felonies instead of misdemeanors. Hence, that is why Donald Trump is a felony. He says that Merchan gave unlawful jury instructions, telling the jury they didn't have to agree, what the underlying crime was. And right there, ladies and gentlemen, I have to completely disagree again, because that just, wow, that is bogus and falsely claimed right there. He says, sorry about that, guys, I'm trying to read. He says it'll be overturned. So he refuses the defendant his right to due process by not sentencing him. He donated to buy. Let me stop you right there. He did not whatsoever at all during the case denied Donald Trump his right to due process. He specifically did not want to speak and testify. Hence, the dumbass decided to speak at trial, or at his sentencing. That clears that question up. He says it'll be overturned, so it says it'll be overturned. Unfortunately, the Supreme Court didn't overturn it. That is good news for the Democrats and for the plaintiff, which is Stormy Daniels. And the First Appellate Division, I did a video on this, the First Appellate Division threw out his appeal. Plus, Donald Trump hasn't appealed, which that is on his part. That is on his part, in a way, stupid of him to do, because he is running out of time. He has only 2 days. 2 days, ladies and gentlemen, to file an appeal, which he has not done. He has not filed an appeal. He has 2 days to file an appeal, or his 30-day window is up. It says it'll be overturned. Obviously, he didn't refuse Trump his rights. And he did sentence Donald Trump. Unfortunately, it was to unconditional discharge. He donated to Biden's campaign, which means he had a personal interest in getting a conviction, and his daughter worked for Biden's and Harris's campaign. Yes, in a way, his daughter did work for Biden and Harris's campaign, but that does not mean anything. That does not mean he had a personal interest in getting Donald Trump's convicted. So right then and there, called for grounds for Donald Trump to be fact-checked right there. That's where I am going to fact-check him on that. There was nothing illegal about the Supreme Court decision. Right there, yeah, I have to disagree with your opinion, bud. You are completely wrong. There was absolutely, unconstitutionally, everything wrong with their decision. From point A to point B and to point C. The Supreme Court messed up right there. They created immunity out of thin air, little tiny particles, and just put it together. Because here's the thing: the Constitution does not define nor state that this bogus immunity exists. Hence, they did create it in favor of Donald Trump. Moving along. Merchan is in way more trouble than Trump. Unfortunately, fortunately, you're wrong there, too. Merchan isn't in any trouble. But I'm sorry, I'm fact checking you again. Merchan is not in any trouble. He went to the appellate division and specifically got permission to say that he could go over this case. That is another lie on Donald Trump's behalf. Moving forward. And this is my response. In New York, falsifying business records counts as a felony rather than a misdemeanor only if the defendant had an intent, which he did, of committing or concealing a separate underlying crime. Hence, I told him that he did have an intent, or he did have intents of committing and concealing another underlying crime. And that's when he said, that is correct. That is correct, he said, which is why I asked what underlying crimes was. It wasn't on the indictment, and the judge gave the jury multiple choices. Again, I have to disagree with you there, but he did not give the jury multiple choices. He did not once do that. Period, zip, zilch. That is another lie on Donald Trump's behalf. Moving along. He says it wasn't on the indictment. Give the jury unlawful instructions in order to unanimously to be unanimous. That is where I have to also fact check you there. A jury can be unanimous no matter what. He was convicted unanimously by a jury of his peers that found him, that went through all evidence that was presented at the trial on behalf of Donald Trump, and decided unanimously that he was guilty of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree. And then that's when I said that it was concealing payments to cover up a $130,000 illegal payment made with the Trump Organization, which is his company, to Stormy Daniels to silence her about a sex encounter between them, which they had in like 6 or 10 years ago, or a decade or so later, before the presidential election. I said, that's when I told him that, which with costs related to the transaction, including the payments, totaled up to $420,000. And he says, he asks me, he's like, how do you know that's what it was? Because, ladies and gentlemen, that does not, court records don't lie. That's just the plain fact. Court records do not lie. Court records, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, court records do not lie. They do not put false information. Moving along. He says the judge also said it could be for tax evasion, or it could have been to influence the election. No, it wasn't. He was simply convicted of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in the first degree because he decided to illegally record them in his company. He says, but I don't think your guess is correct because non-disclosure agreement payments are not illegal. Actually, if you look up the proper definition, it specifically states that hush money is an agreement to say that something happened, even in a jury trial, legally or non-illegally, to say that something did not happen, which henceforth is telling the American people that it did happen. There's no denying that. He did it. Regardless. That is why that's why I do not like Trump. I'm sorry to say, but I do not like Trump because he's a mean old last man. He tells lies. He thinks he can commit all democracy-busting crimes against the American people, ladies and gentlemen. Under the Supreme Court ruling, since he illegally asked them to make this immunity ruling, yeah, technically he can, but he can't. I hate to say technically, but under the Supreme Court ruling, yes, unfortunately, this D-bag can, unfortunately break the law. But he cannot. But technically he can. Technically, ladies and gentlemen, he is still not immune from prosecution. Or, well, he is for now, until he gets out of office. Which I do not think, I don't see it going through the amendment ratification proposal to get him illegally a third term as president. I don't see that happening. The Supreme Court, I don't see them granting him his amendment or special amendment to do that. It's just not gonna happen. I mean, you guys saw the you guys saw what the Supreme Court did this last time he tried to get them to rule in his favor illegally. And they ruled that pretty much, nope, we're not tossing out the case. Moving forward, and he said that, yes, that was the records violation. He supposedly made payments and recorded it as a business expense instead of a personal expense. Hence, is why he was convicted, because he illegally did it. That's the point of what I'm trying to point out here. He then asks, or he says, I'm talking about the underlying crime that turned those records violations into felonies. As I stated, in New York, as long as he did so in order to commit another crime, and which is what he did, obviously, is why he was convicted. There was no underlying crime, but fortunately, that's why he was convicted, which is rightful for somebody corrupt and illegal like Trump. He says the judge gave the jury multiple choices for what the underlying crime might be and told them they didn't have to agree to be unanimous. Unfortunately, I have to disagree again with you guys on that, because they agreed, hence what made him convicted. And he did not say that. He did not tell them that. Moving along to the next comment. The next section of comments. So this is a video I made on, I reported on because of Tulsi Gabbard and her criminal background. This comment is from Janelle 3113 3 weeks ago. She asked me, she's like, did you ever think that with all of the corruption and cronyism that goes on, perhaps a complete outsider is best choice? She's like, just sounds like you don't like Trump, and by proxy, anyone whom he will appoint. I don't like them because they are criminals and they're just gonna do whatever the hell Donald Trump wants. That's the clear point, is for Donald Trump to do, for them to do Donald Trump's bidding for him and his dirty work, his dirty illegal work. So, not necessarily I do not like them, it's just their criminal background that I am against. And it's Donald Trump definitely that I'm against, because he thinks he can do whatever the heck he wants and get away with it. Which nobody is above the law. Even Judge Merchan said, is that this sentencing proves that nobody is above the law. Yes, there's speculation that Donald Trump illegally paid the judge off for sentencing him to unconditional discharge. I have to agree with that. Moving along to my response, I said specifically that yes, I have. And she's like, I appreciate your response and pray that our nation and the world find peace, and that our differences can be focused upon less, and our similarities and brotherhood of man made more of a point, as well as who have love in our hearts, want the same from life and the future. Life isn't a zero-sum game. I have to agree with your comment. I want the same from life, but I want the same from life as you, but not in the way Donald Trump is taking this country currently. Considering the fact that he is a criminal and he illegally incited an insurrection 4 years ago to illegally overturn the U.S. government. But overall, I do appreciate your comment about that, and I do appreciate your comment overall. Moving on to the next one. And this one, 3 years ago, or sorry, not 3 years ago, 3 weeks ago as well, by the username at normhill1052. She said some people should not do podcasts. Why? Just because I spoke out against Donald Trump? That just completely was bogus. A bogus comment right there. We have no replies because to that comment, so we won't waste time with that comment. Next comment says from Tim the Mechanics. Said A. Christopher Bond 21. Those misdemeanor charges were for violating federal election laws. Only federal election officials have the authority to enforce. Thus is why the judge, he said, thus is why the judge he says, thus is why the judge... Hold on, I'm trying to find where I was at. Oh, there we go. He says, this is why... He's like, thus is why the judge refused to allow Trump, the defense, the opportunity to cross-examine the election official the state themselves had called to the stand, which now will finally be heard by another court now that a sentence is made, thus allowing the basis for appeal and grounds to demand an immediate review. He's like several experts, including Jonathan Turkey, stated this. First, before we get into that comment, no, he did not refuse, he, the judge, did not refuse Donald Trump any of his rights whatsoever. Hence, there's no just cause or basis for a review of the case, because there was a sentencing that took place recently, before Donald Trump took office, which was at the beginning of last month, which was January 10th. Hence, there was no basis for a review. That hopefully clears that up right there. And there's no basis for an immediate dismissal or review, or to demand a review, because both the First Division of the Appellate Division and the Supreme Court said, we're not going to review it at all. because Donald Trump was sentenced. And then we're now on to the replies of this comment. I said, son, I hate to break it to you, but it was a sexual allegations case before the guy took office, in which he tried to do this to try and cheat in our U.S. elections. Hence, son, it does not need to comply with the immunity ruling. I then said that all of these were undoubtedly based on unofficial acts. I said that he, as the article states, he can't appeal it in New York. He can't appeal it in New York, but he can appeal it, but in which it'll be assigned to the judge, Judge Sotomayor, who is the state's overseer. He also did this in remarks to his company, the Trump organization. That's where falsifying business records in the first degree comes from. I went on and said that, and yes, it's called New York Supreme Court, deal with it. This is about the title of the article, or of the video. I said that the federal court said the case stays in state court as stated. I concluded with, however, regards to your allegations of they have no right to hear federal election laws, that's where I have to step in and correct you. According to the New York Constitution, the New York State constitutional law, courts in New York can hear pretty much all types of cases. He said those misdemeanor charges were for violating federal election laws. And he says only federal election officials have the authority to enforce those. Thus is why the judge refused to allow the Trump defense the opportunity to cross-examine the election official. The state themselves had called to the stand, which now will finally be heard by another court, now that a sentence is made. Thus allowing the basis, he concluded, for appeal and grounds to demand immediate review. He concluded with, several experts, including Jonathan Turkey, stated this. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news to Jonathan Turkey and the several experts that stated this. The dumbass has 2 days, less than that now, to file, if he is supposedly filing. Two days he has to file. and then there's no just cause. He cannot file whatsoever if he says he is innocent. Moving along. This is me. I said that he was charged, son, with falsifying business records, and therefore Ego did it through the Trump Organization. Hence is why he was charged in state court and not federal court. Therefore, Ego, I said, a federal judge asked Trump's attempt to wrongfully move it there. His lawyers need to be arrested for falsely accusing an accurate legal court. He's like, we'll see. He'll win this case. He's not going to accept this, and there's no what this cash will declare or will clear on appeal. He's like, the will not withstand review by a legitimate court, and this case will not be left to Sotomayor. And the judge's total disregard of what the court required. His bias show throw in utter respect for the office of the president. He's like, he said, I don't need to prove anything to you idiots like this judge and everyone else trying to make Americans believe utter bullshit is over. Biden is corrupt, is the corrupt one. He's like, Trump has truth and keeping promises, something a liberal could never do because they only lie. Many Republicans too, but come midterms, watch out, go the remaining rhino, and Democrats. He's like, watch. I highly doubt that. Why? Well, because there's proof that Donald Trump is a narcissistic, corrupt criminal and a fascist. Moving on. Lastly, he says, are you drunk? And I'm, seriously? No, ladies and gentlemen, I was not drunk when I made this. I am sober right now. That is a bogus comment right there. Moving along. This one is by Hood Show Hip Hop. Approximately 3 weeks ago, he said the objective is not to put a disqualified person in as FBI director. The objective is for someone who's going to do Donald Trump's or do the president's bidding and go after those he considers to be enemies. And there is one reply. This reply is from me, and I'm like, there's two replies. I'm like, I said that I am aware, and he gave me, Hood Show Hip Hop gave me a 3 thumbs up and said B1. Moving along. This one is a reaction on my video of him filing the emergency document asking the Supreme Court to intervene in the sentencing. He says, or it could, this one is by On Ball Up. He says, or it could be that Trump is just following judiciary process, unlike acting Judge Merchan. And so I replied to him, not even. They'll more than likely dismissing his bogus emergency document. They did it with the gag order. He's like a Christopher Bond 21. He's like, they could just not pick it up, but that would be in effect undermine their ruling from formalizing immunity from what was widely accepted unofficial immunity. Ergo, I replied with, I posted a recent video regarding it. I said, check it out here. The Supreme Court of the United States denies President-elect Donald Trump's request to delay. It'll be, this comment will be, or this video, the video, ladies and gentlemen, will be linked down below in the comment section of this reactions video. If you guys want to go back and review it and check it out for you guys yourselves. And this is a comment on my latest video of updating the disqualification of Fani Willis in her RICO prosecution case against Donald Trump that they filed before he was president. This one is by at Bonnie Granier 2 weeks ago. She said that she had to go get some cash. I can't confirm nor deny that she did. However, I don't think that was the case. Moving along. This comment right here is a reaction on my recent video, or not my recent video, but of the last video of the Supreme Court that denied Donald Trump's delay request. He said he will appeal and then no longer be a convicted felon. This one is from at Tyre Doff Haters 4939 2 weeks ago. He said he will appeal. Donald Trump will appeal and then no longer be a felon. He added and concluded with, what a waste of taxpayer funds. I replied to his comment and said, he is going to be a convicted felon for eternity. Forever, I concluded. I haven't seen any updates on Trump's supposed alleged appeal of this. I haven't. So, where is it, Donald? Moving along. This is a comment on my video of Donald Trump's court date. This one is by at Alana Blancard 4775 2 weeks ago. She's like, bless your channel, bless you all in the new year. And then I replied to her, I'm like, thank you, exclamation mark, because I meant it and I was yelling it. This one is by at Retain the Breeze TV 48 or 8478. He says LOL, like haha. He's like haha, another person who knows nothing about what is going on. Really? Really? I know nothing about what is going on? Because it appears I do. That is just a BS comment right there. He's like, oh boy, I am a 67-year-old, not a son boy. My apologies, but the point is, I know what the heck is going on in the world. I'm not gonna say my age, but I was not born yesterday, ma'am. This comment is by at Queen Army R. She's like, bro, or he, I'm sorry, I don't know your gender and I'm not trying to assume it. He's, this user's like, bro. She's like, people check your distance between your mouth and your microphone. I believe there is. She's like, also your audio, there's way too much smacking dehydration type noise. She's like, dear, between your flow of words, starting, ending, the sentences, and basic word Your subject is barely audible. When we hear your dehydrated vocals better than your content, well, you do want to create quality content, right? Of course you do. And this is my reply to @QueenArmyR. I simply said, unfortunately, I'm not able to afford high quality equipment. I concluded my comment reply with, this is the best I've got for you guys. Next comment, it appear, this comment is on my video of Jack Smith saying that if it weren't for the election, that Donald Trump would be convicted for his role in the January 6th insurrection. This comment is by @Katie Steele K2K, and she's like, Trump won. And I pinned the comment, or I hearted the comment, and then I replied. I was like, if it weren't for voter suppression, he would not have. In definition, that is, quote, voter suppression, when a group or person discourages or prevents an eligible voter from casting a ballot. As the Brennan points out, a modern... Sorry about that, folks. The quote, modern approach, close quote, to suppressing voters is characterized, quote, as death by 1,000 cuts, close quote. These methods often involve state laws that, when taken together, make it more difficult for eligible voters to cast their votes, or cast their ballots, close quote. This comment right here is of the video that I posted about January 6th Granny, refusing Donald Trump's pardon because she believes that she's not a victim and that she clearly did something wrong. Her response in the video was to why she didn't accept the pardon was because if she did accept the pardon, it would be her undermining the rule of law in a slap in the Capitol police officers in their faces. So hence is why she didn't accept the pardon. Now going to read you the comment here. This comment is by Holy Cat Smoke, or Holy Smoke 4839. He said, they say hashtag don't care. And then the next one was 3 days ago by at Kai Star, or at Kai Stars. They said maybe she had no place to go. That's not, ladies and gentlemen, that's not at all why she didn't accept the pardon. The next one, also 3 days ago, by at Martin V5Z7V. He said, they said, I respect your opinion, but you sir are misinformed. I hate to break the bad news to you. I am not misinformed. This next one is by the user at a Nasura L. I believe I'm pronouncing the name correctly. Nasura L says, as foreign individuals, humans, where you are born is of others' concern, so do things properly as per God's way, and your offspring will have no problems with citizenship. This is, of course, in regards to my video that I uploaded in regards to the federal court last week blocking Donald Trump's unconstitutional birthright citizenship order to end birthright citizenship permanently for babies born here in the U.S. This next one is again on the video I did on Grandma Granny of the January 6th rioters not accepting Donald Trump's pardon because she believes that it would be a misuse of justice and a complete slap in the officers' faces. This one is from A. Stevens-432. And they state, NPR asking the questions says it all. The next one is again by Nasir L. 2 days ago this time. They say, I'm saying they, ladies and gentlemen, to be clear, because I don't know if you guys are male or female. I'm not trying to be discriminative, sexist, or anything. I just flat out don't know whether you guys are male or female. I apologize about that if anyone is offended. I'm not trying to make anyone offended. Nazirel L says, A. Christopher Bond 21. I love your reply. I love you. I love your Trump. I love you. Or I love Trump. I love Kim. I love Clintons. Or I love the Clintons. I love you all. I love you, Nancy, the most. with the little face reaction right there. And then this one was from 2 days ago on the same video by Mr. Nathan Stencil. He said, quote, temporarily, quote, question mark, it should be a slam dunk, exclamation mark, in all capitals, no, period, it is unconstitutional. I flat out agree, it should be a flat out no, but as of right now, it is, temporarily blocked pending the arguments. The judge that blocked Donald Trump's order agreed with the Attorney General that brought the case. And so that is why he blocked it, pending further argument. Hopefully, as soon as he hears the arguments, he rules and says, nope, this ain't going through. Rightfully. This next one is by the user of @TerryDover6968 on my, let's see what video this is on. This is on the recent video that I did the other day of the one of the January 6th rioters getting rearrested, but this time on pending weapons charges after the Trump pardon. Terry Dover 6968 says, let's pardon them again. With a little smiley face. I don't see how, ladies and gentlemen, I don't see how you can put a smiley face on let's pardon them again. That just is not happy. That's not the type of reaction that anyone would want who is against and opposes Donald Trump's pardons. Anyway, I replied and I said, Terry down 9686. That's a stupid idea. Because let's face it, ladies and gentlemen, it is a stupid idea, and I am completely against all of these unconstitutional pardons. Moving to the next comment. This comment is by the user @Edward Burkhard T104. Yesterday, they say, Edward says, or asks, who is this junkie? The junkie, Edward Hard T104, is Donald Trump, unfortunately. That is who this video is about, and his unconstitutional, illegal pardon, misuse of justice. And he claims that Biden, in his pardon of his family members, are a misuse of justice. This is a complete misuse of justice right here. Moving on. This comment is by Jonathan Swanson, 6590, says, "Hell no, Trump doesn't need a third term, and if it happens for him, it better happen for everybody else after that. He said that I'm tired of Donald Trump getting special treatment when he doesn't deserve it." I completely agree with you there, Jonathan. He goes on to say that he should never have been president for this term, but he is not getting a third term. I agree. He should not have been president because of him being an adjudicated, convicted, or non-convicted yet, perhaps never convicted, unfortunately, felon, or, not felon, adjudicated insurrectionist. For now, he is still an adjudicated insurrectionist. His comment goes on to say they have to have 2/3 of vote of Congress, and I don't think they're going to get that. Not even close. So in order to change the Constitution, it's going to take a miracle, and is not going to happen in Donald Trump's favor. This is my reply to him, and I said, yeah, I agree. Even if he were to get an amendment passed to allow that to happen, he would still need 3/3 of state legislatures to ratify or ratifying conventions must approve it as well. I said that this means that 38 out of 50 states must ratify an amendment, explanation being that Article V of the Constitution outlines the process for amending the Constitution. I said that Congress can propose an amendment if 2/3 of both houses of Congress vote in favor. Which, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it appears they did. But will it be amended or get the rightful vote? Who knows? Hopefully it doesn't, because that skinflint D-bag does not need a third term. Now, one term of him was enough. This second term should have never happened, legally speaking, and constitutionally speaking. A third term, hell no. Hell no will he get a third term. I do not agree with it. Moving down to the last portion of my comment. I said that legislatures can also ask Congress to call a convention to propose amendments if 2/3 of state legislatures apply. I said the amendment becomes valid when 3/4 of state legislatures said that ratification must happen within a reasonable time after the proposal. I then wrote to conclude The amendment process is considered difficult and time-consuming. And this reply, I did not see this reply from at the mundane kind queen 5 hours ago. She said, "This is just butt-kissing theater, and not only do they not have the votes in Congress, not even states will ratify it either." I have to agree with you there. I don't think the states will ratify it, because this goes against constitutional law and legal law. Moving along to the next comment. Alright, hang on, let me see if I have any other comments. Nope, I went over the rest of the other comments. Moving to my next video, which is again the video of the January 6th defendant from Idaho that refused Donald Trump's pardon. This one is by 2007 Andrew G. Yesterday. Andrew says, hashtag would love for NPR to interview all of the other political prisoners. Something smells fishy here. She's like, or he's like, did someone offer this woman a shitload of money? I replied, I'm like, no, because they didn't offer her any money to come forward or anything, or let alone offer her money to not accept the pardon. She did it on her own accord. Pamela Pemphill did. She did it on her own accord because she did not feel it was right. This one is by Kennesaw 180 yesterday. She's like, how much... Kennesaw was like, how much were you paid to refuse a pardon? I can answer that right there. Right here, right now. She wasn't paid any money to refuse a pardon. This next one is by Exalty Dunn, 27.99, 9 hours ago. Exalty Dunn, 27.99 said, "You know this is propaganda and social nudging, right?" No, this is completely bogus. That comment right there, I'm gonna fact check it. It is not bogus and propaganda and social nudging, as you put it. I don't know where, honestly, that comment comes from. Honestly, I really don't. That comment should have been never put in my comment section. I replied. I said, no, she wasn't a victim. I replied to Kai Star. And I said, no, she wasn't a victim. She said that's why she refused his pardon. This one is by Liza Bassett, 7737, an hour ago, and she's like, paid actor. Again, I went over this. No, I am not a paid actor whatsoever. That is false information right there. Moving along. This comment is by the user Intergalactic Space Daddy 730. He said, I appreciate your content. This isn't something I would normally watch. There is definitely room in the market for the tone you put on your content. My only suggestion, he says, would be to go back and watch some of your own videos and give yourself some ideas. This next comment, firstly, I will take your comment into consideration. I will consider doing that. Moving along to the next comment. This comment is by J. Owen Full, 1 day ago. He said, unconstitutional president doing unconstitutional shit. I have to agree with you there at J. Owen Full. He is an unconstitutional president and he is doing unconstitutional shit. Unfortunately, he did it under official acts of the president. Hence, he cannot be prosecuted for. It's bogus and bullcrap, but unfortunately, that is what the Supreme Court ruled. Unless the Supreme Court rules that he can still be prosecuted, because even despite him doing it in a presidential official act, because of it being unconstitutional. The next comment is by Elsa Gonzalez, 4542, 22 hours ago. She's like, what is he proposing to help his constituents? She's like, nothing. I agree with you there. The next one is by Jonathan Swanson, 6590. I'm not gonna bother with that one because I already went over that comment. The next one, I already went over that comment. And this one is like, is by A. Martin -V5 Z7V 3 days ago. Martin said, sorry, I already went through that one, so I won't even bother with that comment. This next one is a highlighted reply by the user at G_demolished yesterday. She said, that would be you on my breaking news reporting of Republican Tennessee GOP proposes amendment to allow Trump to serve a third term. She says that would be you. I then replied, "Afraid not, son. It is true that unfortunately they are unconstitutionally attempting to do it." The next one I already went over, so I won't. Let's just skip to the next one. And this one is by the user at the 78 Noodle Noel 17 says, "I was going to subscribe, but based on your clear bias, I guess I'll pass. Have a nice day." Unfortunately, there was no bias in my video, so I have to completely disagree. There was no bias in my video. I'm sorry that it supposedly made your decision up for you of not subscribing to me to make my 65th comment or subscriber. Moving on. Sorry about that, folks. This comment I already went over, so I won't even go through it. This next comment is by blah 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 tube. Blah 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 tube said, "You are misleading, no views for you." That's a bummer because no, I am not misleading. This content actually took place, so hence is why I reported on it. Moving along. Paid actor. I went over that comment already. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to conclude it for today's video. I hope you did enjoy today's video, because if you did enjoy today's video, please consider commenting, liking, subscribing, as well as sharing, and please help me make it to my goal of 70 subscribers, so that way I can check it off my list. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a pleasant day.